At the end of Hollow Lane, beneath a canopy of twisted oaks and suffocating ivy, stood the Hollow Haven, a decaying Victorian mansion that seemed to breathe its own malevolence. The house loomed like a sentinel of dread, its weather-beaten facade a patchwork of peeling white paint and invasive vines clawing through shattered windows. The sagging roof groaned under the weight of its own neglect, and the faint gleam of the moon reflected off the cupola, now more a ruin than a crown. Hollow Haven's presence was oppressive, even at a distance, and the locals avoided it with superstitious resolve, whispering stories of its cursed history. On a brisk October evening, the Hollow Haven became the subject of a challenge. 4 friends, Amy, Caleb, Lisa and Ryan, huddled around a flickering backyard campfire. The flames cast distorted shadows across their faces as Ryan, ever the daredevil, leaned forward with a smirk. "Ryan, come on. Everyone talks about Hollow Haven like it's some death trap, but no one's got the guts to actually go in." Amy, maybe because they want to live. People vanish there, Ryan. It's not just a spooky house, it's something worse. Ryan, stories to keep kids from trespassing. If it's so haunted, why hasn't anyone proven it? Caleb, maybe because no one who's gone in has lived to tell the tale. Lisa, it's not worth it, guys. That place, it just feels wrong. But Ryan had already made up his mind, and his determination dragged the others along. By midnight, they found themselves walking down the fog-shrouded Hollow Lane. The trees seemed alive, their skeletal branches clawing at the sky as if trying to trap the group in their labyrinthine grasp. The air grew colder with each step, and the oppressive silence was broken only by the crunch of gravel beneath their shoes. The house emerged from the mist like a phantom, its massive silhouette blotting out the stars. The warped front door bore a lion-shaped brass knocker, dulled by rust and time. Windows stared at them like empty sockets, black and lifeless. Lisa, guys, we don't have to do this. Ryan, we've come this far. What's the harm in looking around? The door creaked open with an unnatural groan, revealing an entry hall cloaked in darkness. The beam of Ryan's flashlight revealed a cavernous space, its high ceiling adorned with a massive chandelier. The crystals hung like frozen tears, veiled in cobwebs so thick they seemed alive. Faded wallpaper peeled away in jagged strips, and the floorboards beneath their feet groaned as though protesting their presence. A grand staircase spiraled upward, its banister intricately carved with vines and thorns that seemed to twist in the flickering light. The air was damp and freezing, each breath forming mist that lingered unnaturally in the stillness. As they moved deeper, shadows danced along the walls, and the faint metallic tang of blood hung in the air. Ryan led the way, pushing open a door on the right. The room beyond was a dining hall, its long table set for a feast long abandoned. Plates and goblets, tarnished and dusty, sat amid rotting floral arrangements. A faded painting of the Allard family, the mansion's mysterious former owners, hung above a cracked fireplace. Their faces seemed to watch the group, their eyes unnervingly vivid despite the decay of the canvas. A faint scratching sound echoed from upstairs, stopping the group in their tracks. It was deliberate, rhythmic, and seemed to grow louder with each passing moment. "Lisa, we should leave now, Ryan. Let's just see what it is." They ascended the staircase, their footsteps echoing unnaturally in the suffocating silence. The scratching grew louder, interspersed with faint whispers that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. At the top of the stairs, a long hallway stretched before them, lined with closed doors. The wallpaper here was worse, curling inward like claws. Ryan approached the nearest door and pushed it open. The room beyond was a bedroom, frozen in time. A canopy bed stood in the center, its curtains tattered and swaying despite the still air. A music box sat on the bedside table, its lid open to reveal a spinning ballerina that wasn't moving. A child's laughter echoed faintly, chilling them to the core. But the scratching wasn't coming from here. It was louder now, beckoning them to the end of the hall. The final door was slightly ajar, and as Ryan reached for it, it swung open on its own. Inside was an attic-like space filled with forgotten belongings, trunks, furniture draped in white sheets, and cobwebbed corners that seemed to shift and breathe. At the center of the room sat a rocking chair, its rhythmic movement the source of the scratching sound. But no one was there. Lisa screamed as the chair stopped abruptly, the air around it shimmering like heat waves. The shadows in the room coalesced, forming a humanoid figure with glowing, hollow eyes. It lunged toward them with a guttural screech, and chaos erupted. They fled down the stairs, the house seeming to come alive around them. Doors slammed, whispers turned to screams, and the air grew suffocatingly hot. The chandelier crashed to the floor as they reached the front door, which refused to budge. Only when Amy screamed a desperate prayer did it fly open, and the group stumbled out into the night. The house stood silent once more, its dark windows hiding whatever horrors lay within. None of them spoke of what they saw that night, but Hollow Haven's reputation only grew darker. The house seemed to watch them as they fled, its twisted silhouette burned into their memories forever.